March is Colon Cancer Awareness Month, and I am a survivor. I was diagnosed at age 45. Right now, you can get colon cancer screenings starting at age 45. Personally, I think it should be younger. I think it should start at age 40. There are way too many young people getting diagnosed with this disease. And trust me, if I could get colon cancer stage 3 at age 45 with no history and healthy lifestyle, anyone can. So please watch my story. I shared my story last March 2025. Please view my story and share with everyone, because if I could be diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer at age 45 with no family history and a healthy lifestyle, anyone can. So please view and share with everybody. This is very important. Thank you for watching. Hi everyone. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. No symptoms, no family history, healthy lifestyle, diagnosed with colon cancer at the age of 45. I'm wearing my sweater, electric blue sweater here in celebration of colon cancer awareness. March is Colon Cancer Awareness Month. In this video, I'm going to talk about my cancer survivor story. I'm not going to do any demonstrations or paint reviews or paintings in this episode, so I'm forewarning you. But this is very important to me. This is near and dear. And I just wanted to give you a brief story of my experience as a survivor. All the stars were aligned that time, that period of time that I was diagnosed. Because how that happened was, it was a warm September late afternoon. I came home early from work, which is a rare moment. And instead of picking up the stereo remote, I accidentally picked up the TV remote and put the TV on. And lo and behold, Oprah was there. And she had her show at that time, early September 2008. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll just leave her on. She could be in the background as I'm putzing around in the apartment. And Dr. Oz happened to be a guest. And Dr. Oz said, well, after this commercial break, I'm gonna have my poop discussion. So I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds interesting. I'll sit down and listen to what he has to say. So he went on and he said that basically, I don't want to gross you guys out, well, maybe, but basically anything other than a C or an S shape is not good. I mean, things like pebbles, mountains, spaghetti, if it's a long string like a spaghetti, and a couple other things I'm trying to remember. But so I was like, whoa, I have all those symptoms, but I attribute it to stress living in the city. I mean, living in New York is extremely stressful, but I didn't think anything of it. So the following week, I had my annual exam with my doctor. And my doctor and I were talking, and I just casually dropped, hey, I saw this episode in Oprah, Dr. Oz was on. And I told her that I had all those basic symptoms. So she said, since you were diagnosed with IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, I'll send you to the gastroenterologist. Let's see what he has to say. So went to the gastroenterologist, and he's like, well, you're super young, but we'll go for the colonoscopy. We'll have a colonoscopy done. I'm like, oh, okay. In those days, it was a laborious thing. Oh my goodness. 2 jugs of this liquid that you had to drink and basically go without food for like practically 2 days. Like one day, no food. Next day, you have the procedure, then you got food afterwards. But whoa. So that was extreme. I'm like, wow, this is intense. So, but not like now. Now it's much better. They've much improved that aspect, thank goodness. Went to the gastroenterologist and had the procedure. And I'm sitting in his office, waiting for the results, thinking everything's going to be great. And he walks in with his eyes like wide-eyed, big blue eyes like saucers. And I'm saying, oh, this isn't good. That don't look good. That's not a good look. So he's like, we couldn't finish the procedure. You have an obstruction. And I'm like, obstruction? What the heck? He's like, yeah, there's something there. So I laughed it off. I'm like, oh, come on, doc, you're joking. I mean, I'm the healthiest person I know in my family. Come on. You know, I exercise. I went to the gym at that time 4 days a week. I eat a healthy lifestyle. And I really, and I'm like, I'm not 50. I mean, come on. I have no family history. So, and I'm egging him. I'm like, no, you got the wrong file. And at that time, they didn't have digital files. Everything's paper. So I'm like, you got the wrong person. He's like, no, he's looking at his file. And he's like, nope, this is you. So I'm going to send you to a CT scan. Meanwhile, I'm in shock. And during that time, he said, go and lay on the table, because he has the examining table there. And I did. And he's like, you know, I forgot what it's called, palpate. I forgot when they're trying to feel you. And he's like, yeah, I feel something there. And I'm like, oh, that's when I really started getting nervous and worried. I'm like, oh shoot, wow, okay. So, CT scan, but this was like a month later, like a month and a half later, I got the CT scan appointment. Like me, it's like, I want it now. I want the CT scan tomorrow, the next day, whatever. And but that's not the way it is. So month and a half later, I remember this very well. Oh yes, I remember. It was Halloween. Yes, Halloween 2008, Halloween day, and I remember going to the hospital to get the CT scan, and everybody's in costume, walking around New York. You know, it's hysterical. So meanwhile, I'm like, wow, this is intense. I'm still in shock. I still can't believe it. So I'm sitting in the waiting room, and everyone else is like in their mid-60s and above. And I'm like, what the heck am I doing here? Why I'm the youngest person here? What the heck? What's going on here? So I had the CT scan done, went back to the gastroenterologist. Thank goodness it was a couple of weeks later. And he's like, yeah, there's a mass there. And I'm like, what? What? So I was in shock over that. Had blood work done. He's like, I'm sending you to the surgeon. I'm like, oh my God, surgeon. He used the S word, surgeon. So yeah, and by the time I got to the surgeon's office, another month. So yeah, we're looking at end of December. It was like, no, it was Christmas time. It's really strange. So imagine 2.5 months going through, having to wait, for the surgeon. So at the time, they didn't have any waiting lists or anything, and I'm pleading with the receptionist, like, please, is there anything sooner? Oh my God, I just want this done, So he had the CT scan, and I sat down with the surgeon. I took 2 of my friends with me, because I was still like, I was numb, actually. I was like still in shock and numb. And like I said, I'm the healthiest person in my family. Everybody else in my family, they were heavy smokers, heavy drinkers. I could say this because they're not going to watch this. Heavy smokers, heavy drinkers. It's amazing. And I'm a wine drinker. I like wine, but whiskey and stuff, that's way too much for me. Even my family members are like, "Oh, are you sure you're part of this family?" Because I remember going to a family event, and my uncle was having I think I discussed this in my intro. My uncle was having, both hands were occupied. One was a Bacardi, and the other was a beer. What are those things called? Chasers? Yeah, that's my family. And I grew up, I have to admit, I did grow up on fried foods. That was the diet. Yep, fried foods. And I don't mean just lightly fried. I mean dunked into like an inch of lard, believe it or not. Yeah, manteca. I'll show you. Show you a picture of it. My mom used to buy those in bricks. Oh, looking back. But when I was a teenager, that's when I became aware. Hey, this is not healthy. And discussed this with my mom. My mom couldn't believe it. She was, well, what else is there to cook with? She only grew up with that, with manteca, lard. So I told her other like olive oil. Well, we use olive oil a lot in our culture. And they didn't have things like now, like avocado oil. It's supposed to be very good for you. I use that. But anyway, so back to the surgeon's office. I'm in the surgeon's office, and he's telling me, yeah, it's a large mass. Now, how he? Because I asked him, I'm like, outside those symptoms from Dr. Oz, I had no symptoms, and this was stage 3 mass cancer. I was like, oh my God. I was just in shock. And so he's like, yeah, it's a large one. So I'm like, it's a large tumor? I mean, outside, I don't, you hear the usual, you hear the blood in the stool, and you hear like the usual. Usually blood and stool it's kind of like a giveaway. But something's going on that's not right. So I said, it's that large. So yeah, he just flipped on his computer, and next thing I knew, I saw my image of he pulled up the CT scan, and I'm looking at my enemy right there. I'm like, wow, that thing is huge. I'll show you. I did show it to you in the intro. So this is December, Christmas time. And thank goodness I had my friends with me, my 2 friends, my 2 best friends, because I would not have remembered. It's like my mind was like, I was just trying to comprehend this. And the surgery was in January, mid-January. I'm like, oh God, I just want the surgery. Can't we have the surgery done tomorrow? I just want it done now. Take it easy. So the surgery was in January. They removed 9 inches of colon. Yep. Shocking. I remember being in the prep room, where they take your vitals and everything. And I remember looking at the clocks. It said like it was a little after 10 o'clock in the morning. I thank goodness that morning I came with a friend of mine, so she could, as morale booster. And so the surgery was that. I remember seeing the clock, and it said 10 o'clock or 10ish. It was a little after 10. The surgeon came in, and he told me what's going to happen. He was very personable, very kind, sweet. I mean, thank goodness he had a wonderful bedside manner. Then I met the resident. He introduced himself, and met the anesthesiologist. I met the anesthesiologist, and while I'm laying there in my gown, and the next thing I remember, I'm in the recovery room. There was a clock there as well in the wall. I remember looking at it. I'm like, it says after 10. Does this mean, I'm like in the fog, and I'm like, wait a minute, I guess this is after 10 p.m. It's like p.m. So yeah. So I spent a month in recovery. It took a month for me to recover from that. And it was what happened was, I spent a month away from work. The wild thing is that I just started a new job in September. It was a pen manufacturer. It was a small office in New Jersey. And I just got my health insurance. Yep, just got it. So passed the 3-month probation and got the health insurance. And I got the health insurance in December. And I told them that I was going to go I'm going to be away for a month because I'm going to be recovering from major surgery. I told them this early January. I wanted to wait until after Christmas and everything. So, talk about timing. It did take a month to recover from the surgery. I stayed at my cousin's house, so at least I had family members around me while I was on recovery mode. And at that time, I had the pathology report. Thank goodness the pathology report came back clear. And I recovered pretty well. It was really funny because during that time, I did not watch news. With me, I loaded up my playlist with comedies. I just watched comedies. That's all I did. Everything, just comedies and such like that, just to keep my mood up and going. So that's the gist of it. I didn't want to make this video an hour long, but my suggestion is that you have to be an advocate for your own body. If you feel that something's not right and you don't like the answer the doctor has given you, go to another doctor. If you feel that you need to see an oncologist, go see the oncologist, just to make double sure that everything's okay. I'd rather if everything's okay, if the oncologist is saying, oh, well, you're wasting my time, thank you. I'd rather have that than, hey, this is happening and we have to take care of it now. Because that's the way it is nowadays. You really have to be an advocate and really listen to your tuition. And like I said, the stars were aligned that day. I mean, it was just, I look back and I'm still like in shock. I'm still like, wow. If I did grab the stereo remote instead of my TV remote, I may not even be here, to be honest. I mean, when he said stage 3, oh, on top of that, I forgot to tell you, when they did the surgery, when the surgeon came back in the recovery room, he paid a visit, and he's like, oh yeah, we had to remove one of the six-pack muscles in your right side, because muscles in the stomach has a six-pack and both left and right sides. He said, we had to remove that because the tumor was sitting right on it. And he's like, rather than, risk it, they just removed that muscle. Every year I had to have a colonoscopy for 5 years. So then afterwards, 3 years, and then every 5 years. So now I get a colonoscopy every 5 years. After I was recovered, I became an advocate on the importance of colon cancer screenings. And because I was so young, I was interviewed. I was with, at the time there was Jay Atlasberg. He had his medical segment in Channel 7 News. And that's where you see my surgeon with the pointing at the tumor. That was a screenshot from that news segment. Unfortunately, I couldn't find that segment because it was back in 2010, I think, or 2011. I was featured in several news segments with Jay Atlasberg and some other news segments. I did get a job at a big hospital in the city. I did a colon cancer awareness day for 2 years in a row. Across from the hospital in this park. It's Union Square. I partnered with the hospital, and the Colon Cancer Foundation has the colossal colon, and they were generous enough to work with me, the hospital, and the Parks Department, and the Partnership Parks Department. Oh my God, 4 entities. That was intense. That was almost a full-time job in itself. So I did that 2 years in a row. I'm going to link the Huffington Post article down below in the description box. I joined the Colon Cancer Alliance as well as the Colon Cancer Foundation, and I went to support groups, and I also went to talk about my experiences in front of audiences and community centers, and just to get the word out on the importance of screenings. And it was a wonderful experience. I met amazing people and gone to all the events, and it was just wonderful. And now that I'm retired, I'm looking forward to resuming that part of my life, because once I became super busy with work, I just couldn't do it anymore. But now it's possible. I could do it again. And it's wonderful meeting survivors, fellow survivors. The support groups are amazing. I highly recommend it for anybody going through any kind of cancer. It's great to be with people that are going through what you're going through, because you're not alone. Reach out to people, reach out to the foundations. They are really very good at helping anyone going through this ordeal. 2012, I had my first hernia operation because it was an incisional hernia. I didn't know that that was possible. My surgeon told me, hey, don't do it. Don't go to the gym first year. But he didn't say anything else about after the first year. Don't go to the gym. So there I am at the gym. I'm doing light weights, and I felt something in that side, in the right side of the lower right side. And I went to the doctor, my oncologist. Yeah, it's herniated. He found out it's herniated, so I had to have that surgery. And then on top of that, last February, I had to have a second surgery in that area. Yes, it herniated again because, here I am thinking I'm not lifting that any heavy items, but I did at work. It did happen at work. I lifted something and I felt it. Oh man, I really felt it. I'm like, oh, I dropped that box. I lifted a box, going to carry a box to the conference room because we were about to have a meeting. I lifted that box, I felt something, and I just dropped that box. And I knew it. I'm like, oh, don't tell me. So yeah, it herniated again. So I had to have surgery in February. And in March is when I discovered my love and passion for art. So it's amazing how these things happen. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you found it very informative. Please share, anybody who needs to hear this. And please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions at all, please leave it in the comments section. I'll direct that question to anybody or any foundation that could help answer that question if I can't provide an answer right then and there. So I will link my story in the PDF format down in the discussion box titled Diary of a Mad Polyp, because that's exactly what happened. Polyp that went mad, as well as other important information. And all the links will be down in the discussion box. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.